#Asus ROG Strix 5K Gaming Monitor Script. So here's the thing about most gaming monitors, they either give you gorgeous picture quality but your frame rates take a hit, or you get smooth gameplay and everything looks kind of flat and washed out. It's like you have to pick between one or the other. Well, the Asus ROG Strix 27-inch 5K monitor actually tries to do both, and I wanted to see if it actually pulls it off. Link is in the description if you want to check the latest price on Amazon. First off, let me talk about what makes this monitor kind of wild from a specs perspective. You're getting 5120 by 2880 resolution on a 27-inch screen, which is basically getting way more pixels than a standard 4K monitor, all packed into the same screen size. That means when you're doing anything, whether it's gaming, editing, just scrolling around, everything is incredibly sharp and detailed. The text is crisp, the images pop, and honestly, once you go to 5K, going back to regular 1440p feels a little grainy. But here's where it gets interesting. Asus didn't just make a high-res monitor and call it a day. They built in a dual-mode system where you can switch between 180Hz at full 5K resolution, or you can dial it down to 1440p and push it to 330Hz. So if you're playing something super competitive like a shooter where every frame matters, you can flip over to that mode and get insanely smooth gameplay. Then when you jump into something like Cyberpunk or a story-driven game where graphics actually matter, you switch back to 5K and soak in all those details. The color accuracy here is legitimately impressive too. We're talking 97% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage, which means if you're creative professionals gaming on the side, or gamers who actually care about how things look, this delivers. The HDR implementation is solid, so when you're playing games that support it, darker scenes have actual depth instead of just looking muddy. Response time is rated at 0.3 milliseconds, which is crazy fast. Combined with Asus's motion blur reduction tech, competitive players aren't going to feel like they're sacrificing anything performance-wise. I tested this with some fast-paced games and it felt super responsive. One thing I really appreciated is the display widget software. You can customize basically everything, adjust individual zones for brightness, tweak colors, switch between those dual modes, all from your desktop without digging through monitor menus. Let me be honest about the trade-offs though. The main pro here is obviously that you get flexibility, high resolution when you want it, high refresh when you need it. That's legitimately useful. The color accuracy and HDR are also solid perks if you care about visual quality. The con is the price point, which is definitely on the higher end. This isn't a budget monitor by any stretch. The other thing is if you're exclusively a competitive player, you might not appreciate paying for the 5K capability when the 330Hz mode drops to 1440p anyway. But if you're someone who games across different genres and actually wants a monitor that looks good while performing well, this one delivers. Links below if you want to grab it.